Hello friends, and welcome to my little cozy corner of the internet. I hope you are all doing incredibly well. I am doing pretty decent. I am kind of sad because my cat peed on my couch, so there's that. And we literally just got this couch a month or two ago, so I'm kind of sad about it. We're living. So I decided to hop on here and start a new reading vlog because I am officially starting, or have started, A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas, and I've already got some tabs going on. I'm loving it so much, mostly because we have so much more of Lucian right now, and it makes my heart so happy. He's my absolute favorite fictional character ever. He's just, I love him. His loyalty, his kindness, his humor, I don't know, I just love him. His snarkiness, he's great. I have made it to page 207. I'm just getting to the part where Azriel is training Feyre how to fly. I've already cried twice since I've started this book, and I know that it's gonna get worse because this is the book that has the war, the battle in it. I do want to say though, if you are a person who posts reels and TikToks and stuff about ACOTAR in any kind of way, please, for the love of all things good in the world, put if you have spoilers in the video. Now that I've started this series, like, my For You page on Instagram and TikTok both are all like ACOTAR stuff. And literally the day I started this book, I saw one, and it was like, when you thought that Rhysand died in the battle, but then he was brought back like 2 pages later. I was like, wait, what? And it totally spoiled so much for me. If you make videos, please just keep that in mind. I mean, hey, at least I know that he comes back, right? Also, I braided my hair, and holy stinking guac sauce, I forgot how exhausting that is. My arms are stinking dead. Holy nuggets. Anyway, so far I'm absolutely loving everything about this. Like I said, I love that we're getting more of Lucian and his story, and I just love and appreciate so much that he's been through like hell and he is still so good and such a good friend. I definitely teared up at the part when he and Feyre were talking about Calanmai and how he's the one who had to perform the rite with Eon. I don't know how to say her name. She's the worst. Oh my goodness. So how they had to like get together, basically. Feyre apologized and said that she wishes she could have done something about it to stop it, and Lucian says, "You are a better friend to me than I ever was to you." And I cried. And I just feel so bad for Lucian being stuck in this position of being loyal to Feyre, but also having to be loyal to Tamlin, because it's kind of like his protection being in the Spring Court, and it's just, ugh, it's heartbreaking. I love that they were able to escape together. I loved the scene when they were actually escaping across the frozen lake in the Winter Court, and Eris and Lucian's other brothers catch up to them, which, by the way, Eris fan art, villains are always so attractive, and I don't know why. I love that scene though, when it was like a shadow blast down on the ice between us. No, not a shadow, an Illyrian warrior. Cassian! Oh, I love Cassian so much, and the fact that he was straight up like, "You better drop my lady," like. Cassian and Feyre were talking during training. He was talking about how, like, because you're a high lady, like, you're mine. Like, you are mine to protect and I am yours. And it just, like, my heart is just melting so much at all of these scenes, and I just can't handle it. I do have to mention though, the part that I actually like cried, like legit cried at, was the first time that they saw each other when she came back from the Spring Court, and literally all she could do was just fall to her knees and start crying, and how Rhysand just like immediately was there and just held her face and said, "My love." And I just like had my book and I just held it against my chest and just sat there and cried. It was so good. And I think part of the reason too why I love that so much is because my husband Steven calls me love. That's like what he calls me most of the time. So when I read that, I was hit with all kinds of the feels. I love how casual everything is, how much of a family they all are. There's like this whole page. I love this so much because this is literally just family. And it's when they were all at the House of Winds, but they're sitting down for dinner, and I just put like this whole scene, family. because the whole page is just, they're all just like messing around and having banter. That made my heart melt so much, especially because Farah just is melting every single time somebody mentions family. And so all of these moments of family are just, they're so beautiful, and I tear up every time. When she and Rhysand are walking through the city and they're talking about like how to talk to each other now that she's like the High Lady, he says that I want you to hold me accountable for what I say. And she says we need to have like a unified front. Like I understand that that's important, especially for us. And Rhysand says, not amongst our family. Warmth spread through me at the words, our family. Like, I just want to cry right now just reading that. Because you're my equal, and as much as that means having each other's backs in public, it also means that we grant each other the gift of honesty, of truth. Like, Sarah J. Maas is out here giving amazing marriage advice. I am just loving everything about this so far. I'm not looking forward to the disaster that's coming, but like I said, spoiler, it all turns out fine. So overall, that is what I'm feeling so far. I love Lucian, I love Cassian, Rhysand, of course, heartthrob as always. I love Nesta. I know this is like a big debate, like I'd said in my previous Mist and Fury vlog, but Nesta is my absolute favorite. I love her so much. I'm just relating to her so much. I think Nesta feels so deeply about everybody, but she's so nervous to let that out and to be shut down, so she just keeps it in and puts up a front. That's how I was my entire life up until basically like the last couple years, to be honest. And the fact that Cassian is so crazy in love with her and hasn't admitted it yet, but like we can tell, you know, we can see it, we know what's going on. I'm so excited for A Court of Silver Flames to read about them because Nesta is just, she's my soul sister and I love it so much. Like every time she says something rude, I'm like, I understand. Being that we are having crazy snowstorms in Minnesota right now, I doubt that I'll be leaving my house. Not that I do anyway. That is an excuse to read more. Gotta work, so I'm gonna get to that and then I will catch up with you guys again either tonight or tomorrow and we will see where we are at. Hello friends, it is Saturday night. Steven is at D&D, so I'm taking some time to read and it is lovely. I have made it to chapter 30 and I'm loving it so much so far. I am like really amazed at all of the biblical allegories that Sarah J. Maas uses in her books. I know I had mentioned in A Court of Mist and Fury, but I'm pretty sure that Amren is supposed to be a fallen angel. I think Sarah J. Maas has confirmed that, but I'm not totally sure. On page 284, I took some notes about it. Her saying, I was perfect according to some. I did not regret, did not mourn, in no pain. I never experienced that. I was too curious, too questioning. My brothers and sisters fled. Upon the orders of our ruler, we had just laid waste to twin cities, being Sodom and Gomorrah in my assumptions. I was not built or bred to feel such selfish things as want, because the angels are meant to carry out God's will. I yielded my grace, my perfect immortality. I would fall, obviously like fallen angels. I bound myself in this body. There's a burning grace within her. And then the last thing that I was like, oh, yeah, but I'm pretty sure that this means that she's an angel then, because it says, Nesta had asked, what were you? And Amren says, a messenger and soldier assassin for a wrathful God who ruled a young world. So the word angel literally means messenger. I think it specifically in Hebrew, even if you just look up the word angel in Google, one of the definitions is messenger. So the other biblical mention that I was kind of like, oh my gosh, when Azrael was talking about the Nephil philosophy, I think that's how you say it, it mentions the seraphim, Dracon's people. The seraphim are winged like us. Seraphim is actually a biblical angel. It mentioned in Isaiah, specifically Isaiah 6 verse 2 through 3. They're six-winged angels. They're known to be at like the top of the hierarchy below Archangel Michael. They're like super BA warrior angels. So that was in there. And then when they're like running through the water and it says they cleaved the sea itself, made a path through the water, and I'm like, okay, Moses parting the Red Sea. The fact that her name is Miriam and Moses's sister is named Miriam. There's just so many ties to the Bible in this. I'm like shook. I just find that to be really interesting. Aside from that, I'm like really loving the story so much. I love that we're getting so much more of Azriel as well. My friend Nisha, who's also on booktube, I love her so much, she had mentioned in her video before, she was like, we can spot a damaged boy from a mile away. I laughed out loud because Azriel's got a story, you know, he's been through some stuff, and for some reason that mysterious past of his and the pain and the rage and just everything is just like attractive for some reason. I don't know. I'm like shocked about what happened between Rhysand and Mor, about how Rhysand invited Eris to that meeting in the Hewn City, the Court of Nightmares, and didn't tell her about it, and she was like devastated. But the fact that he like let her feel her feelings about it, like when they met at the townhome that night and he like just let her push him and like cry. I don't know, that part made me cry. Like literally I like teared up reading it. They're such a good family. They love each other so much and they make wrong choices, but they still like make up for it at the end. They still like allow each other to feel the way that they feel. And the fact that Cassian was like there for her and comforted her through it. I just love the inner circle so much. Like the fact that they all love each other so much and have these moments is just so special to me. And I think that's partially too because I didn't grow up with a really great family dynamic, so like seeing it elsewhere like makes my heart so happy. I think I relate to Farah a lot in that sense, that every time she sees that happen she always thinks to herself like, wow, this is my family. And I just think that's so beautiful. Amryn is amazing. I love her so much. Oh my goodness. I love that she kind of like stepped in that moment too and was like, both of your feelings are valid. Like, Rhys, you did the best that you could in the situation. You made a wrong choice, but you had good reasons, and Mor, you have every right to feel the way that you feel, but at the same time, like, this was a necessary step. I just love it. I love the conflict resolution. I love the feelings. I don't know, I just love it. I'm so tired right now and I'm just gonna listen to relaxing music and get further on in this baby. Hello friends, it has been a day, maybe two, I'm not sure. Before I give you guys an update, I wanted to show you these beautiful books that I got. Aren't these the most stunning things you've ever seen in your life? I got the collector's edition of Six of Crows. Like, look how pretty that is. I was gonna do like a super aesthetically pleasing video, but I just wanted to show you guys like this, and I'm so obsessed. I have not read this series yet. I love that it has the map. Always appreciate that. I love that in the back there's like art of the characters, which is super exciting. I love Kaz. I love Kaz Brecker, and the show just... Whenever my husband and I watch shows, I like to ask like, okay, who do you think is the most attractive? Just for funsies, right? And we did it for Shadow and Bone, and he said Nina, and I can't remember her name, but she was super mean to Lena and like tried to seduce Kiergan, and Kiergan was like, nah. But those are his picks, and my pick, he swore it was gonna be Kiergan or Mal. He was absolutely floored when I said Kaz. I don't know why, but that was just my pick. Obviously Kiergan is the second, of course. Here is Crooked Kingdom. Look how stinking beautiful it is. I can't even stand it. Also has the map. And then there is art in the back of these ones as well. It's Nina and Matthias, Kaz and Inej. I just think these are so beautiful and I'm so excited about them. Okay, so A Court of Wings and Ruin. I almost said rings. I made it to page 380. I thought that the whole scene of like the library was so cool, like that creature being down there. I don't know why, but I just thought that was like the coolest thing in the world. And the fact that Cass came in and just like rescued, and Rhysand just walked in, just no hesitation, so brave. I love him so much. I will say I finally have a complaint about this book. After the like little battle scene where Hybern attacked the summer court, after the stinking battle scene and they're back at the camps and Farah passes out and wakes up in the tent with Rhysand, who's up like going through battle plans, right? And then they get intimate, which is like whatever, you know, that's fine. That's a good way to like I don't know, relax after something so stressful. But the part that I was like, excuse me, why would you say that? It says, his growls of pleasure filled the tent, drowning out the distant cries of the injured and dying. Like, excuse me? I literally put like, okay? Like, why would you say that? That's so weird. There's people dying and you're gonna talk about his groaning? Like, not to mention, like, my husband actually pointed this out because I told him about it. I think she put up like her shield so that like people couldn't hear. Steven was like, if nobody can hear them because she put up that shield, wouldn't they already not be able to hear the groaning of the crying? And I was like, fair point. So that was just the one part where I was like, okay, that was a really weird thing to say, but all right. There's definitely a lot more spice in this book than I anticipated. Wasn't expecting that to pop up so often. Nesta and Cassian are still just like my favorite thing, and I think I pointed out already how many like biblical references there are in this series so far, and there was another one after I had talked about it in my last clip, I'm assuming. But I put it on Instagram and I lost so many followers, you guys. Oh my gosh. I had literally just mentioned, oh, this is biblical, this is biblical. Also, the city putting lamb's blood across like their door frame so that Amryn didn't like come into their house. I was like, that's exactly what happened at Passover. Like, God commanded them to put lamb's blood over their door, right? So I put that on my Instagram. I was like, this is blowing my mind that there's like so many biblical like connections, right? Oh yeah, a bunch of people unfollowed me. Which is fine. It's amazing to me that people get so uptight about that. Like, I love Jesus. If you like me and follow me already, like, why would that change your mind? I don't know. Anyway, so I plan on making a dent in this a little bit more tonight, but I think I finally just want to, like, you know what I mean? Steven is working an overnight tonight, so it's the perfect opportunity. I was gonna like write some letters and clean and stuff like that, but I literally just lost all my motivation like 10 minutes ago. So I'm excited, but also freaking out. I had to come on here really quick to show you guys that I've been smiling like an idiot for the past 3 minutes because it's talking about Cassian and Nesta. Next time, emissary, I'll come say hello. I'm obsessed. They're my favorite. They're my favorite. Like, Rhysand and Farah, like, yeah, they're cute. Just something about Cassian and Nesta. I just love it so much. I've literally been reading like this. Okay. Just got to chapter 44. They're at the High Lord meeting and Tamlin just walked in. I don't know why, but I kind of love Eris. Not really sure why I feel like that, but whatever. Helion though, is Tamlin trying to get dead right now? Is he trying to get dead? The line, Azriel. Yes! Oh, I'm freaking out. I'm freaking Rogan out.
Careful how you speak about my high lady.
This is when Azriel goes from like attractive, but like still second or third to like all the way up. I am getting all emotional about this part with the cereal. You were kind, you fought for me. Why am I getting emotional about this thing? Helion came to her when she was holding the cereal. Are you kidding me? And Reese just holding her as she just cried and cried after the battle. Like, I can't. Also, hey guys, tonight is the night that I will be finishing this book and I'm so excited. I'm like shocked that nobody has talked about Tamlin's character development. Like all I see on social media is how horrible he is, which I agree, but I've never heard anybody talk about the fact that he like steps up and changes and rescues Farah at that camp and then like drags Baron into war. Like, why hasn't anybody talked about this before? The whole scene of the mirror was so good. I highlighted so much of that part. I think that is so amazing when she had said, I think I loved it, forgave it, me, all of it, and only I could allow the bad to break me, only I could own it and embrace it. That is so good. That is such a good life lesson for everybody, just to like embrace who you are but also grow. The whole thing. I of course highlighted like the most famous ACOTAR line ever. I would have waited 500 more years for you, 1,000 years, and if this was all the time we were allowed to have, the wait was worth it. So cute. Basically, my update is that I'm still loving this so far. It's so accurate that like Sarah J Maas's books are really entertaining for like the whole thing, and then the last like 150, 200 pages it's just like bang, 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 like all the action, all the things happening. So it's really good. It's very exciting. I'm curious to see the character development that's gonna happen with Tamlin. Like the fact that he rescued them in that camp and now that he's like showing up to this battle, it has me like so excited. Also, I knew that Durian was on their side. Ever since the last book even, I had a feeling, I was like, I don't know, I feel like Durian's gonna end up being one of the good guys. Like, it didn't make sense that he would have been trapped in Amarantha's whole thing and still be on their side after all that happened. Like, it didn't make sense to me, so I had a feeling something like that was gonna happen, where he kind of popped up and was like, JK, I'm on your side. So I'm really excited to see how this ends. Nesta screaming for Cassian. Okay guys, here I am all emotional because all it took was for Reese's voice to break when he was talking to Cassian. There's no debt to repay. And Cassian says, I never got to repay your mother for her kindness. Like, are you kidding me? Like, the second I read when it said that Reese's voice broke, I like immediately got welled up with tears. Cassian and Nesta finally kissed. Goodness. They'd go together? Are you kidding me? I have 2 pages left. 2 pages. Let me finish. 2 pages. Oh my gosh. Shh. Oakley! Hello, I'm sorry, you can hear my dogs eating in the background and this light is super great, but I just finished it. And I love it so much. Oh my goodness, this was definitely a 5 out of 5. Dare I say that I actually liked it more than A Court of Mist and Fury? Dare I say that? I don't know, they might be tied, but I think I have more tabs in this one. I mean, according to Mist and Fury, it's like there's good romance in that one, you know. I mean, chapter 54, obviously. I know people like love chapter 55 because of the spice or whatever, and like, yeah, that's all fine, but chapter 54 is where it's at, okay? I think I had already said this. The only thing that I didn't love about this is that there was a lot more spice in this one, and it wasn't as tasteful, so I wasn't excited about that. I feel like it kind of got to the point where it was like happening all the time, and it kind of took like the specialness out of it. Like, part of what made it so special, like in the last book, is that it was like new and fun and exciting, or it wasn't rare, but it was just more prized, I guess. I don't really know how to say it. It just seemed like it meant more. I didn't love when they were talking about like Helion and lots of people at once if he wants. Whatever, that's his thing. The thing that I didn't like was when Rhys was like, would you, fair darling, like to have somebody else with us? And I was like, why would you say that? Like, that kind of like took out a lot of the romance that I've seen between them. So it didn't like ruin them for me or anything, but it definitely made my love for Feyre and Tamlin go from like here to here. Feyre and Tamlin. It definitely made my love for Feyre and Rhys go from like here to here. So that kind of like dropped for me a little bit, because I'm like, the fact that you would even suggest that, even as a joke, was just like really not tasteful and kind of weird. Didn't love that. Really, my only complaint about this book, honestly, was just the weird spiciness stuff that kept happening. But other than that, I thought it was amazing. Still love Nesta, Cassian. They're my favorite. I know a lot of people hate Nesta, and I think that's also because of A Court of Silver Flames. I guess she gets like really bad. But so far in this one, she's had a lot of character development, which I love. I'm all about character development. Like I had said before, even Tamlin had some major character development. I was kind of shocked that he came forward being so good in a lot of parts. Like, even when Rhys had died and he had given his spark or whatever to him and said, I just want you to be happy, like, hello, that's amazing. Mind you, that doesn't excuse all of his actions from the past, but I mean, like, you gotta admit, it's still like a good thing for him. You know, I want Tamlin to be better. I want him to grow and change and, you know, just become a better dude, because like Feyre was saying before, like, she feels like what had happened under the mountain had really ruined Tamlin, and like that's where a lot of this heartlessness had come from. And I would agree. I think that what had happened really hurt Tamlin. It really messed him up, and I think that's why he is the way that he is. I think that deep down he's got a good heart. He's good. I think on the inside he's just gotten sucky from what has happened to him. He didn't allow those experiences to make him want to be better. He did the opposite, what you're not supposed to do. Again, doesn't excuse him for being an a-hole to Feyre in the last book, but I think that there is potential for him, and I hope things turn out for both of them. I have a soft spot for monsters. And the part that I had highlighted the most, it says Rhys took her up to like that crown room basically, and she had said, I had been terrified once in Tamlin's court of being given a crown, had dreaded it, and I suppose that I indeed had never fretted over it when it came to Rhys, as if some small part of me had always known that this was where I was meant to be, at his side, as his equal, his queen. Rhys inclined his head as if to say, yes, he saw and understood and had always known. Night triumphant and stars eternal, if he was the sweet terrifying darkness, I was the glittering light that only his shadows could make clear. The part that had me actually like cry, like for real, was with the Suriel. When freaking Eonth or whatever her name is came up when they were in the woods and the Suriel got killed. Oh, I actually like legitimately this whole book, that was the one part that I actually like cried. You were kind, you fought your fear, leave this world a better place than how you found it. I understood why the Suriel had come to help me again and again, not just for kindness, but because it was a dreamer. Like, that makes me want to cry just reading that. That definitely was probably my favorite part, honestly, because it was just so beautiful. And I feel like I think that's like the second time that things have turned out well for Feyre because she was kind. It might have been in ACOTAR, but I'm pretty sure it was in ACOMAF when they were paying like the tithe, and that one water fairy, whatever they're called, couldn't pay the tithe. And so she like ran after and gave it her jewels and was like, I'll remember this kindness forever. And then like at the end of that book, when she and Amryn were like drowning and that fairy rescued them and said, my sister's debt has been repaid because of your kindness. I feel like kindness always comes around, you know? Like, not just in these stories, but in real life, in my opinion. If you're kind, good things are gonna happen to you. Again, a lot of really great moral lessons, especially with the bone carver, about like the Ouroboros mirror, whatever it's called, and about embracing who you are and not being afraid of who you are and growing in spite of all the bad things that have happened to you and that you've done. I definitely teared up when Nesta and Cassian were having their moment. I have no regrets in my life but this, that we did not have time, that I did not have time with you, Nesta. I will find you again in the next world, the next life, and we will have that time, I promise. They would go together. Like, that part, oh, shook me to my core. I can't wait for A Court of Silver Flames because Nesta like basically shunned Cassian for the rest of the book after that, after they had survived. So I really want to see their relationship play out because I just love them so much. And again, like I said, I know Nesta is like widely hated by a lot of people, but again, I just find so much of myself in her and I love her so much. I understand where she comes from in a lot of aspects. She's my spirit animal, my spirit fairy. A world divided was not a world that could thrive. There's literally a Bible verse, I think in Proverbs, that says, a house divided cannot stand. I thought it was really cool that their father came back. I definitely want like the eulogy that they gave for her father, that they give to everybody pretty much. I was like, I want that given at my funeral. Like, that is so beautiful. Which again also has like a biblical reference to it. May you pass through the gates, may you smell that immortal land of milk and honey. Fear no evil, feel no pain. May you enter eternity. I just think that's so beautiful. I love how Amren's story played out, how she had basically like sacrificed herself to save everybody, and then she ended up getting turned into high fae at the end anyway, which I was very glad about. Of course, I know that everybody's big like panic about this book was when Rhys had died, but then obviously got to come back like 2 pages later. But again, I would have freaked out and sobbed and had a whole reaction had that not been spoiled for me already on Instagram. Once again, if you have reels and posts that you put up, please, for the love of all things good, please put spoiler warning, because there was no warning on the one that I saw. Just be a good person for the bookish community. So yeah, overall 5 out of 5. Loved it so much, so good, so many tabs. Sarah J Maas, oh my gosh, when I start therapy, I'm sending my bill straight to her. Like, these books are just like wrecking me. And I am so incredibly nervous for the show to come out because Hulu is making an ACOTAR show. I want to play Nesta, but you know, I'm in Minnesota and they don't necessarily come here looking for people to play in their shows. I'm really nervous to see who they cast for everybody. I'm hoping that it's like actors nobody knows. Anyway, yeah, this was my very long haul of this book. It took me a while to finish it. Again, love you guys so much. Thank you very, very much. Good night from me and the boys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!